Hello, how you doing? How you getting on? Long time no see. It's your old pal Connor. I'm back doing a carpool. It's been a while. I feel like I say that every time I record now because they're so sporadic. Sorry about that. If you have been missing them, I do apologise. Obviously, I was on the pod. Was it last week, the week before? With Liam and Phil, I'm sure. I can't even remember. It's been so long. But I'm going to try and get back into doing a wee bit more, just hopefully with circumstances and whatever changing, that I'm back in here doing what I love, which is talking to you guys about Glasgow Celtic. So now, before we talk about all the, I would say, ins and outs of the transfer window, but it's mostly outs, and the upcoming game against Dundee, I would please like you guys to like, share, subscribe, share the bus far and wide with all your friends and family. Use the code BUS1888 on piesports.com, who are our sponsors. So that is BUS1888 at the checkout, so you can get 12.5% off your order. And don't forget that down below you can become a Bhoycie Bus member for the low fee of $1.99 a month. Just helps you get a wee bit, more invested in the bus and things like that, and helps us out immensely. So we do appreciate any and all memberships that come our way. So thank you very much for that once again. So, where do we start? Groundhog Day? Sound familiar? Transfer window? I pretty big disappointment. Who could have saw that coming? Well, I would say all of us, but I think with sorry, I've been no well, by the way. That's probably why I sound terrible. But who could have predicted that? I would say not a lot of us probably predicted it being a bad transfer window because off the back of having a decent summer in terms of recruitment, it looks like Rodgers has been backed. We're already successful this season in terms of European progression and victories and stuff like that. Um, we win extra money, sell players, make profit. There's rumours we were getting Kieran Tierney in, they were go circling for months. We were looking at other players, and I think we all kind of, well, at least from what I could see online, talking to some of the lads and that, what we were expecting was, a pretty decent window. Nothing, spectacular or miraculous, but maybe getting a good few players in, maybe three decent, solid players who we're looking at, getting Tierney back, getting Jota back, getting another striker to replace Kyogo, who you kind of left out the blue for a lot of us. And to then, you follow that up, and then it's so disappointing. I'm not even raging about it because the fact of the matter is we're still in a very comfortable position. The squad, I think, is still in a decent place. We still have good players for each position. We have cover now at left back. Granted, a lot of people have their opinions on Jeffrey Schlupp, who's came in to, take that spot until Kieran Tierney arrives in the summer. We've got Jota back, who's, looks like he's never left. He looks like he's still got the the panache, the flair, and the goal scoring ability, obviously, because he scored. You know, I'm in such a weird headspace with it all because, I am so encouraged by everything that we get kind of on the pitch, the results, the players, the way we're playing, our results in Europe so far, and then for for us to take another step back and to have this kind of bring down our mood in terms of what we were hoping to go ahead and do. I just think it's very, very bizarre. And there is no excuses now. There is no excuses the board can make, about it being a difficult window because we managed to shift so many players. So it's not difficult for other clubs to sign players, our players, but we somehow find that it's a monumental, it's a Herculean task to bring in decent players. I don't buy that one bit. And you can point the finger at whoever you want. Some people, I think, bizarrely, are pointing the finger at Brendan Rodgers, saying it's his fault that we didn't in signing of players. He's been too weak. He's been too spineless in terms of, telling the boardroom. He's upset as everybody else. He's raging. If you watch his press conference, he's not going to cry over spilled milk. He has to just move on now and focus on the games at hand. But you can tell he's clearly disappointed with the fact they didn't get a striker and they didn't get maybe another player or two in that he was looking to really strengthen the squad even more. But I'm saying what he's kind of saying the squad's still in a good position, so there's no real need for panic stations. But the fact of the matter is, it's still really, really disappointing the fact that we don't have players coming in like he's obviously they came to, and I think that's Arsenal's issue. Like Celtic tried, apparently, everything they could to get him in, and we're getting him this summer, no questions asked. But Arteta is obviously playing silly buggers, not wanting to let him come in January, despite the fact that I think he's got another 2 left backs ahead of Tierney the pecking order, if I'm not mistaken. So don't know why they don't want to let him go. He'll play hardly any football, more than likely, until he comes. So he's not really going to be up to speed. Bizarrely, he could have come in, could have trained, could have played with us already. We've already basically got him on a pre-contract. We're just waiting to get announced, basically. It's all just very bizarre. Kyogo leaves, and we're all like, shit, we're now just left with Ida. Ida, miraculously, as soon as Kyogo leaves, uptick in form. He scores, 2 goals against Villa. He basically forces the win against Bodo Glimt. Scored the goal the other day against was it Motherwell we're playing? Motherwell. And all of a sudden, we don't send another striker. Now, I personally, when I seen Ida start to score, because I knew that Ida his form would uptake, like he was, like I knew he was a good enough player that he would then start performing well. But I knew as soon as he started scoring, as soon as Google left, I knew for a fact that Peter Lawwell, Michael Nicholson, all those arseholes at the board, in the back room, were looking at that and going, "Oh, we didn't send another striker. Like, Ida's there. He's the main striker. We'll use Kenny and Daniel Cummings as his backups. 2 boys for the B team. Let's give them a shout. Let's give them a chance." We're going into a must-win couple of games for which it's basically kind of pre-predicted anyway. What the hell's going to happen? We're nobody's going to be surprised if we get our arses turned there by Bayern Munich, right? But we want to give ourselves the best possible chance of qualifying and getting into the next round and getting a famous, result against top tier opposition. One of the world's best teams. And Celtic decide to go, nah, you don't need another striker. It's okay. You'll just do with Ida, whose form could potentially drop at any moment. You never know. Could pick up an injury. The cloggers in this league. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at the game tonight if like, for whatever reason, he's in the end of a really bad challenge and he ends up, out for a wee bit. Then we're up shit creek with a paddle. That's the things that the Celtic board aren't thinking about because they don't care. They know the league's wrapped up. The league's done. They kind of said, "Oh, it doesn't matter if you're a striker. You'll get beat off by Munich anyway, so there's no point. No point in even trying." And, we'll more than likely win the Scottish Cup as well. So it'll be another successful season in terms of us, and we can, drink champagne, eat caviar at the end of the season, and give ourselves a big pat on the back about how well we've done and all that. But they're so like Jekyll and Hyde compared to what we had in the summer. In the summer, it looked like Brendan was properly backed. He was getting who he wanted, when he wanted him. We were getting him in at a decent time as well. Time to train, time to gel with the squad, working really, really well. And now, 6 months down the line, it's just the same old shit. We got Jota back miraculously. I love the fact he's back. That's a good piece of business. But to just get him and then Jeffrey Schlupp dated to Crystal Palace, who still stay a game for now, who are shit. Like the last player we signed for Crystal Palace was fucking James McCarthy, who similarly hardly got a game, was there for a good while and was, a ex kind of decent level player, a player in the Premier League who had loads and loads of appearances in his back, but is now over the hill. So that's basically the optics of that, if you want to look at it that way. It's very, very bizarre. And I'm not necessarily angry at the Jeffrey Sop signing. I think he'll potentially come in and do a good job. But it doesn't look good. And we were scrambling at the end to try and get him. Scrambling to try and get him. We got turned down apparently to sign that Norwegian winger. Chris Carton couldn't get him again. Again, we're struggling to get him. Brondby were only wanting, I think, £12 million. We've made over £100 million in terms of player sales, just of player sales. Not to mention season tickets, not to mention merchandise, not to mention anything else like that pumps money at the Celtic continuously. Not to mention advertising, whatever else we get money from, other revenue streams. Just on player sales alone, over the last few years, we made £100 million over that. They wanted £12 million for him. He's been a top target for us, apparently, for the last few years. Celtic could walk in and go, bang, here's 20 million, give us them right now. And they would still have over £70 million to play with alone, in terms of, profits from player sales. Like, I don't know, what is the actual budget? Like, where does all the money go? I don't get it. Celtic back in the day, under Ferguson, under Martin O'Neill, they used to spend a quarter of their budget on one player alone. Sometimes half their budget, sometimes 3/4 of their budget on one player alone to try and give Celtic the best chance to get back on top of the totem pole in terms of Scottish football. We're now trying to compete in terms of European front to try and take us to that next level, and Celtic are just refusing. The money is pouring out of Celtic Park. It's about to burst with how it looks like a bloated cyst filled with money, because there's just so much money in Celtic just sitting there, going nowhere. I don't understand it. And you got some people, I'm not going to name any names, but they know who they are. Before the transfer window was shutting, were on, oh, it's hard to sign players. You can't blame Celtic for not signing players. Who the fuck else are we meant to blame? It's their job to sign players. It's not just up to the manager, it's up to the board as well. It's up to, the CEOs to sign players. Everybody's a part of it now. It's not just left to one person. There's a giant team there, backroom people, in terms of signing them, and they all work for Celtic. Scouting departments, you name it. Oh, we can't blame Celtic. It's, not a lot of business usually happens in terms of, transfers and that, in January. Bollocks. We've sent out like 3 or 4 players. We've already brought in 2, technically, right up to the last minute. So don't tell me and sit there and be a happy clapper and, act like part of the prawn sandwich brigade who sit up in the upper decks of fucking Celtic Park. That, it's difficult. You can't blame Celtic for this, and putting out videos and that, sounding like a happy clapper, who you last season were jumping all over the back of. Try to get on at the happy clapper, saying everything was good last season. When it wasn't, when it was difficult. You weren't so quiet at the end about criticising Celtic, criticising the board, criticising Brendan Rodgers. But, now you sound like some of those people that you last season were quite quick to jump on the back of. Don't know what that says about your allegiance lie nowadays, considering for years you were, someone who was part of, a massive part of the Celtic support and always championing, the people's opinions to, criticise and, have their say on the ongoings of Celtic and the disappointment thereof. But that's me saying my piece on that. Once again, disappointing January window. same old shit. I feel like we're back to what we've had for the last few years. But yeah, I guess there's no point crying over spilled milk, so we need to just move on and see where we go from here. And hopefully, guys like Schlupp and Jota, especially Jota, will continue to impress and show that they're going to be valuable members of the squad, and that we don't pick up loads of injuries. Because it looks good on paper, the squad, kind of, but see if you just scratch beneath the surface just a wee bit, and a couple of players here and there are out, the squad then looks quite bad. Like, it looks quite not great when you take maybe like a Carter Vickers out, a Scales out, a Callum McGregor out, or, you know, a Reid out, or a Maeda out, and then you see that bench, and you're a bit like, oh, doesn't look that great, does it? Sometimes. But, you know, that's Celtic's prerogative if they, you know, want to continue to fuck about the fan base and, you know, just hoard all our money basically that we pump into the club every single week. I mean, I'm feeling like absolute death now, but I'm going to go to the game tonight to sit up there in the freezing cold, fucking rain, and just sit and, you know, potentially give myself or make myself even worse. But I'm doing that because I love Celtic and I want to support the team. And they don't care. They're happy to just take your money and basically do fuck all with it. I mean, Peter Lawwell must wipe his arse with 100 bills, £100 bills, £100 notes. That's the only explanation to where all the fucking money's gone. Because it ain't getting spent on the players. But anyway, I'll move on. So, we have a game coming up tonight against Dundee. Rescheduled fixture, so the pressure is on, I would say, kind of, to, you know, regain our 13-point lead at the top of the table. I'm just going to look up, you know, the form now that Dundee are on so we can see what we're up against tonight. So it's quite like Dundee are a team where I actually really like Dundee now. I think this uh, this what do you call it? This season, well, they haven't been hitting the high flying heights that they had last season, where they were, you know, incredibly good. They're still very, very competitive, still very compact, robust, and they have really, really good players like Lyle Cameron. He's obviously now said he's away to Rangers. They have guys like Silla in the middle of the park. Their goalie as well, I think, is a decent goalie. The boy at what's his name? I forgot his name, but plays as a fullback. That, you know, they've got players who are very, very good, I think, domestically, and they show that, and they play as a very cohesive unit, and they're very, very hard to break down. Case in point, last time we played them, granted it was at Dens Park, but they scored 3, and it looked like they could have scored about 5 or 6 against us. We looked like we were going to lose that game by, you know, quite a considerable margin. And, you know, we managed to get that penalty at the death to kind of, you know, save our blushes a wee bit. But the recent form has been kind of up and down. They obviously lost 6-0 to Hearts. They beat Dundee United in the Cup and the Dundee Derby. They got an impressive, you know, performance and draw with us at Dens Park. And then they drew with Rangers before that. So their form is a little bit up and down. So hopefully they're feeling a little bit shell-shocked after getting an absolute pasting off of Hearts. And they come into this game a little bit wary, a little bit scared. Obviously, it's a different kettle of fish playing at Celtic Park as opposed to Dens Park. We've got much more room, got the home crowd, support, you know, Jota's, you know, coming back to Celtic Park. You know, I think the vibes tonight, no matter what the weather is, I think are going to be immaculate, and they're going to help motivate the team to have a pretty impressive performance, you know, off the back of, you know, the disappointment of the January transfer window, and hopefully we will then put in a performance that we can be proud of, and it helps us make a statement, putting us back to 13 points clear, and be like, by the way, just in case you thought there was even a wee tiny smidgen of hope that you would be able to try and somehow compete or catch us, being that we had the game in hand and the gap was only down to 10 points. Get that out of your mind, because you ain't catching us. No one in this league is going to catch us at all. We're too good. We're too, all killer, no filler. I think that's, the kind of way I want to put it. Granted, we're not as, high scoring, I think, as maybe, some of the Angie's teams, and high pressing and, putting, the pedal to the metal for 90 minutes plus. But I think the way we dictate the play, the way that, I think we had, against Motherwell, we had something like 89% possession or something crazy like that. Like, it was genuinely nuts, like just how much of the ball we had. It just absolutely kills teams. Granted, you have to do stuff with the ball to, you know, to, get the win, put the ball in the back of the net. You can't just keep it and pass it out the back, which people get on to, Roger's tactics about a wee bit, and I do the same. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I scream at the tail every time, like Greg Taylor or Trusty like that, just make a fucking back pass for no apparent reason. But I think that tonight, be all 3 points in the bag. I think it'll be quite an impressive performance. I am going to say tonight is going to be 4-0 Celtic. I am going to say that Adam Ida will get a brace, Dyson Maida will score, and Jota will score a peach at the end for us to all have a lovely wee sing-song of Jota on the wing to kind of see the game out. And it'll be, a comfortable performance, impressive performance, back to the, being 13 points clear and looking down on the Rangers and everybody else in the league. And, we'll go home, get a good sleep, and be ready to go in and rub it in to your colleagues tomorrow. But anyway, that is going to be the Carpool. It's going to be a short one today, obviously because I'm a bit under the weather, so I didn't want to prolong it, just keep rambling on. Figured I'd cut it short. So, yep, it's been good. I'm happy that I'm back doing this, doing what I enjoy, doing what I love. Hopefully, I always say this, so just don't take away a pinch of salt, but hopefully I'll be back relatively shortly, doing what I enjoy and having a good time doing so, talking with you guys on the bus. So, hail, hail. I'll see you later. Don't forget, piesports.com, code BUS1888. Become a Bhoycie Bus member down below. Hit the subscribe button, like, share, all that jazz. Make fun of my zero hair. But anyway, guys, have a nice day. Hopefully, I'll see some of you at the game tonight. If you want to come and say hello, feel free to do so. But have a good one, guys. I'll speak to you later, okay? Bye.